All right, as we mentioned, Fiverr goes public today, joining Uber in the recent parade of gig economy platforms to go public. Who better to ask about Fiverr and this phenomenon than our friend Alexandria Ravenel? She is the author of Hustle and Gig, a book on the gig economy. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Back.
Thank you. It's great to be
veteran
back.
of the couches on the show. What is your take on Fiverr, and is it fair to say still not a company that is nearly as well known as some of the other players, Uber and Lyft? I don't really hear the average person talking about Fiverr as much, even though here in New York, they've certainly done a lot of subway advertising.
Exactly, yes. So Fiverr is an online platform. It's been described as sort of like an eBay for workers, and you can access people to do all types of different things for you, from website development to actually ghostwriting you a book. And one of the reasons we haven't heard so much about it is because it is online. It's not like Uber, where you see the cars driving down the street.
And as I understand it, Fiverr has a little bit, I don't want to say pivoted fully, but shifted its framing, because I remember the whole point and why it's called Fiverr. It was a job that I can do for you for $5, but obviously now they've allowed people to list jobs for a lot more than that.
Exactly. So this is one positive thing about Fiverr. One of the things we've seen in the gig economy is that workers are getting paid less and less as time goes on, but Fiverr has changed their model, so it's no longer just $5 for a task, but there are actually multiple tiers. So you could actually be pricing something at $500, and then maybe people will go for it.
Let's talk about some of the safety issues when it comes to the gig economy. For example, Uber drivers are using your own car. TaskRabbit.com, you are doing housework in someone's private home. At least with Fiverr, you're pretty much doing the stuff at your own place, so you're safer. So is it better in that sense for people?
It is much better for the workers in the sense that they don't have to go behind closed doors. They're not interacting with strangers one-on-one. But for some of the services on Fiverr, it might actually be a little bit more dangerous for the customers, because they might be giving passwords, they might be giving information like bank tax records that could be used by Fiverr workers.
By the way, the stock, it looks like, just started trading. Oh. We're showing that shot on the screen right now.
There we go.
That is Fiverr. The IPO has happened. It'll be interesting to see what the price does over the next few hours, and that ticker is FVRR. Now, by the way, Alexandria, we have some of the numbers about Fiverr that we're going to show now. The number of transactions since its inception. Look at that, about 50 million. Okay, that's a lot. Now, out of context, you never know. I mean, how many Uber rides have happened? A lot more than that. It looks like 200 different digital service categories. That's interesting. And then it's already in 160 countries, 45% revenue growth last year, but not yet profitable. Not yet a profitable company. Of course, people don't seem to care.
Growth. Right. Everyone cares about growth. They just want to get on the hot IPO market.
Get on. And yeah, I mean, all these gig economy companies start out unprofitable, and we'll see what happens in the long run.
So I have to ask, everyone is focused on growth for a lot of these companies. Where does this company go from here, in your opinion?
That is a really good question. I think one of the things they're going to need to do is really focus on how they're supporting their workers, what types of additional benefits. You know, we just saw a series about how workers are still not making as much money as they were before the Great Recession, and they don't feel like they're moving forward. And so now the issue will be trying to keep workers and give them more supports and benefits so that they can actually do gig work and have it be profitable.
But I can't help but also be worried, because people always want to develop their careers. But if you're on, doing this freelancing, you can write, but you're putting a price tag on it. I mean, how does that help you advance your career if you're doing all these tiny little gigs?
So if you're able to be one of those workers that is very successful, that comes in with the high levels of skill and capital, you might be able to make a good career at this, or you might be able to learn some additional skills. But there is a big challenge, because you are competing against people throughout the world, and a lot of times they might be able to underbid you and offer much discounted prices.
Well, it's competitive. Alexandria, stay right here. We want to bring on Inez Ferre, our correspondent live on the floor of the NYSE. Now that Fiverr has begun trading, what are you seeing, Inez? What are people saying over there?
Yeah, I was just talking to a couple of traders about this company. It's, as you guys mentioned, not profitable yet. They issued 5.3 million shares, and the traders were just telling me that's a small float. So you would see this stock spike a bit, and you're looking at it, that's right now at above $27 a share. So it opened at $26 a share. It had priced its IPO at $21 a share. That was above the range. So in this hot market of IPOs, as we've seen, there's just an appetite from investors for where to put their money. And we saw yesterday CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike's IPO was $34 a share, their IPO price, but they opened at $63.50 a share. And I can't see the graph right now, but I'm sure you see it there on your screen. Today we were seeing a pop with it. After yesterday it closed at $58 a share. So CrowdStrike, also another one of these stories of a company, a cyber security company, unprofitable, but with a lot of enthusiasm from investors.
Yep, they got a big appetite, as you said, Inez, an appetite for fake meat, an appetite for security, and an appetite for the gig economy. We'll check back in with you soon, Inez. Thanks.
Thanks. Thank you.
You know, it's funny. We've seen these IPOs soar. CrowdStrike soared already. We're showing Fiverr's going tick, 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 up, 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 up. And we have a chart showing the highest paying gigs on this platform. And I want to make sure we ask you, Alexandra, while we still have you. You mentioned how in some ways it's safer than some of these other companies, but still Fiverr problematic in a couple ways.
It is still problematic. So we have workers competing against each other. We see that workers are very much sort of doing this movement from the career to the job to the task. And so there's not the same level of career development. There's not the same opportunity unless you are one of these superstars, and most people are not.
You're just out there on your own. All right, Alexandria Ravenel, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hustle and gig. Good stuff.
All right.